this is Deborah Gonzalez, and I am a candidate for District Attorney in the Western Judicial Circuit. Today on my video, I'd like to talk a little bit about transparency and the office. Why? Because the District Attorney is an elected official, accountable to the people in the circuit as well as the people who voted for her to be in that position to begin with. But how do you hold someone accountable if you don't even know what's happening in the office or what that person is actually doing? And that's why transparency and accountability work hand in hand for people. Because there are some things that you as members of the community have a right to know about what people you elect are actually doing in the offices that you vote them in for. So for example, if something is happening out in the community, knowing who is being prosecuted and for what particular crimes they're being prosecuted for is important information. Is it something that you need to be aware of so that you can be safer in your community? But it also means when somebody is watching to make sure that things aren't happening that should not be happening in the first place. And sometimes those particular things may happen because of maybe not totally intentional, but it could be something like implicit bias, meaning all of us have certain judgments about things that maybe we grew up with or were conditioned with, but aren't exactly aware that we actually hold those particular beliefs or thoughts about people. So it's important to have this openness, this transparency, so that others can actually come in and see and evaluate what's going on. You know, data is very important because lots of people can tell you a lot of stories, but data means that we have facts. And those facts themselves tell a story, a much more objective story, a story that then can be corroborated or that we can go back and actually find the evidence for. Unfortunately, right now in our criminal legal system, we have many different kinds of data systems, types of data that gets collected by the police, by the DA's office, by the courtrooms, and these systems don't always talk to each other, which means that people can get lost between the tracks, or even that, sometimes people make decisions that are based on very little information that they have and not the full context of what we need to know about that individual and that crime, okay? Lots of times also we find that our data systems actually are incomplete in their records. There might be some fields that are never filled in, and so if we don't fill them in, we just don't know about the information there. So for example, in our jail system, we have spaces to put in whether a person was white or black, but we don't have a space to note if somebody is Hispanic or Asian. And that means that some of the numbers that we have are actually maybe a little skewed towards one or the other because there's just not that information in there to look at. Now, I know that some of you are also thinking, these are people's lives, there's confidentiality, there's privacy issues that we have to be aware of. We don't just want to release information irresponsibly, right? We want to protect people's privacy and that confidentiality that we need in order to get the work done. But there are some things that we can, in fact, release out to the public, and we want to do so. And so what does that mean for the community? What does that mean for you, somebody? What can you do to help this office be more transparent and more accountable to the people who are actually electing that district attorney? Well, one of the things that I want to do when I'm district attorney is I want to have a kind of community oversight committee, people from the community that can come together and have a two-way conversation with us in the DA's office about what is happening, what is working, what is not working, how we can work in partnership together. I am a full believer in that community partnership is a way to keep our communities safer. And I look forward to working with the organizations and forward to working with you when I'm your next DA. Thank you.